everyone, and welcome to the Boopcast episode 20! Woo! We made it to 20! What do I say next? We are your hosts, SheNoob and...
Cory.
I pointed the wrong way. How am I still pointing the wrong way when it's live streamed? Ah!
See, for me, you are that way.
Yeah, see, you get it right every time, and I'm just like, which way? I don't understand. And with us this week, we have two very special guests, Dan and Wade. Many of you may know them, but for those of you who may not, Dan, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I think. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dan, the voice by ThatKaitoDan. I got to get my little opening spiel in there. I'm a Ruby tuber. I do mostly reactions and reviews, and other kinds of stuff in between with Ruby as well, and some other stuff like Pokemon and Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, the reviews and reactions are my kind of style.
Yep. And those of you watching live on Twitch now should know Wade, but most of you watching on YouTube will not. Wade is my stand-in a lot of the time. He moderates my Discord and my Twitch and does a lot of very important technical things for me that I'm too dumb to figure out. So Wade is awesome.
No, you're fine. No, I mean, how am I gonna follow Dan? I mean, I don't. That's.
Dan, thank you for tweeting about the podcast as well. Alrighty, so we are here to talk about Ruby Volume 5, Chapter 5. What the fuck was it called? Necessary Sacrifice. That's right.
Sacrifice.
I was gonna say unforeseen complications, but that was last week. No, week before. Yeah.
Was it? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Last week was lighting the fire. Let's not talk about last week.
Oh yeah.
Hey Kobe.
Yeah,
hello.
I always want to go to say unnecessary sacrifice when I say this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope.
Okay, so I didn't take notes, so Cory's in charge. Let's get that out of the way. Cory's in charge, and I'm gonna watch the chat. We're switching it up this week because I've literally forgot to take notes. I've seen the episode once since it came out.
Really? You've only watched it the one time?
Once. And the second time I sort of watched it to get the thumbnail for this week, and that's it. So, seen it once. It made me too sad watching it the first time. I was like, I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah. When I watched it earlier again today, I started getting a little teary-eyed again, and I was like, no, not again.
I can't remember if I cried
you were
in my
prepared
reaction
this time.
or not. I think I came very close to crying, but, you know. Rooster Teeth just loves to do this to us, man. Hey, William.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
morning. Afternoon, whatever it is for you. I think it's afternoon for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Take it away, Cory.
Okay, so, I mean, the episode starts with Blake and Sun going out to get signatures.
Which is where I thought.
And that doesn't go so well.
No, it doesn't go so well. So, yeah, I can't believe Blake thought that it wasn't going to be that easy. I mean, I can't believe she thought it was going to be that easy, because it's clearly not.
I mean, she had to try.
Yeah, I mean, she has to try, of course she does, but, like, seriously, girl, you're asking a bunch of civilians to go and fight somebody else's war, especially when the humans treated them so badly. Like, if I was them, I wouldn't be in a hurry to go help them.
And she understands that, of course, like later on when she mentions it, but I mean, she had to at least try, because it's the first step, and who knows, she might get at least some, even if it's just like a handful.
Hi, Murder of Birds in the chat. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Arnold.
What's up, man? Of course he used the bloody penny emote. Oh my gosh. Stop pulling at my heartstrings, man. You had to do that for this chapter, didn't you? Oh, thank you for following, Arnold. That's so nice of you. Thank you very much. I've moved all of because I changed all of my Twitch alerts since I got affiliates. I've moved them all around, so hopefully they're not in the way now. Blake has been quite, well, I don't know if I'd use the word boneheaded necessarily, but, yeah, no, I just feel like she's in over her head a bit, and she hasn't quite realised it yet. But I feel like her reality is going to come crashing down around her very soon.
Yeah, pretty much, though.
I mean, I was gonna say with the citizens. I mean, like it's the same. It's the concept that nobody really wants to take action. They're all just like they were cheering during Gira's, speech and everything like that. But then as soon as they ask to be signed up. They're like, no, we don't actually want to.
They're not exactly ready to lift a finger.
I think the term is armchair activists or something like that. They want to support from behind the scenes, but they don't want to put their foot forward.
No, exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. So. Yeah, this
especially with everything that Blake says later, these people are, they're tired of fighting. They're there because they don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, it's like she says, that they just want to be left alone, and that's why they're there. So it's probably the wrong group of people to ask to do anything, really.
But if she did get at least some Faunus help, because at the rate things are going, the White Fang have been winning every single battle. So she needs at least some element of the Faunus help, and this is really her first attempt of trying to go against the White Fang. So it's not going to be the strongest plan. It's going to be probably the easiest one to go forward with first. At least trying to win people by the hearts rather than by their weapons.
Yep, exactly. But the part about it that I don't understand is that these are not soldiers, not huntsmen. They're civilians, and you're asking them to go and defend this school from a force they don't understand. That's already destroyed one of the schools, despite the fact that it was protected by hundreds of huntsmen in training. So, what the fuck? You can't just ask people to do something like that.
It's bold and hopeful, but. It was doomed from the start.
Over ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, the people there know about the Fall of Beacon also, so I mean, they're not going to be they don't want to throw themselves into that.
No, fuck that. They don't want to die. Who would?
And of course, the signal went out midway through the chaos, so they don't even know who's behind it. Even though they know Adam's a part of it, they don't know even worse things that could be around the corner if they go into battle.
Exactly.
It's not just the same as going, can you fight off Grimm? You're fighting off people with powers beyond imaginable.
Yeah. I mean, Adam's a scary dude, and he's only one guy. So, I mean, we saw what he can do. So... And
I still just don't understand why Gira thought this would work.
I know, right? Gira is being very naive. Even more so than Blake.
Well, I think this tactic would have worked in the past when it was Gira's time, because things have become a lot more aggressive, obviously, with Sienna Khan and Adam. We don't know how aggressive it was in the past, but I think, again, if Gira was doing this full-time, this would be more than okay, even if it was still not completely successful.
And I mean, Blake saw the Fall of Beacon with her own eyes, so the fact that she's asking these people to throw themselves into that is startling to me. People died. It was a thing.
Yeah.
So, it's just... the whole
people died, which they went over.
Yeah, it's just really strange to me.
I doubt that is their major tactic, though. That's just step one, and then
step one, yeah.
If things can work out, they'll probably move over to Huntsman next.
I'm like, where is the Menagerie Armed Forces? Surely there's got to be one. We're seeing guards and there are soldiers of some description on that island. Why aren't they asking them? That's what boggles my mind, but whatever.
It's probably because they're already on board.
I guess.
Because that one guy he was a named character, so kind of.
Yeah, the one guy
probably
that
means he's
going
gonna be
to
be
Saber Rodentia.
Yeah.
So he's probably gonna be important, but yeah.
That has to go to something. You can't just name a background character for one line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be the point of that? He's got to be cropping up again at some point. Yeah. Alright, well, we've been utterly critical of Blake already, and we've been live for 10 minutes, so...
I mean, Blake's storyline to me is just kind of... it's so disjointed from the others.
It is.
Right now.
Disjointed, yeah.
It's just... it's easier to be kind of critical of what she's got going on because she's so separated from the rest of the group.
Yeah, it's true. Like, everybody else, Ruby, Weiss, Yang, especially now that Weiss and Yang are back together, they're all sort of headed towards the same goal right now, but Blake's goal is utterly disjointed from that, focused on something entirely different. Even though her ultimate goal is to save Haven Academy.
Yeah. And of course, since Adam is a part of it and the main narrative, they will feed together. But they compared them as the major arcs. One obviously is gaining a lot more traction and a lot more stability to it.
Yeah, I agree. Arnold just pointed out in the chat that Saber is a rat faunus, and then he pulls up the quote: "If you want to know a city, ask the rats." That's a Mercury quote from Volume 3.
I think I mentioned that in the past as well, and you can't. I'm very untrustworthy of him at this point.
Oh, fuck. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And that's not very far. So, yeah. So, there's a conversation that Blake and Sun have here, which a lot was dropped about Blake's past with Ilya, and a lot was hinted at about Blake's past with Adam. So,
they're still dancing around that question.
They're still dancing around it, but I feel like there was a lot more confirmation here of some kind of romantic something between Blake and Adam, which makes my skin crawl. I'm like, oh god, Blake, why? She was like fucking 16 at the time. That's disgusting.
I mean, you even heard Blake yourself, though. Adam was a different person when she first knew him.
It's true, yeah.
He changed. So, I mean, like, you know, the Adam that she knew might be completely different than the one we know, obviously. It is, but yeah.
But
and
still,
considering who Blake is as a person, you wouldn't attach to someone like Adam if this was the norm all the way through.
Yeah, no. And, like, I just can't get past the fact that Blake was, like, 16, and we don't really know how old Adam is, but it's older than 20. So, that's just... Blah! Oh, it makes me feel disgusting to think about the two of them together in any sense of that word.
That's probably why they keep dancing around it, is because they're like...
It's
be careful about this.
Ages,
It's just too cringe.
The thing is, it doesn't have to be like a strong romantic element, like they were, you know, and all that.
Okay.
It could have just been. It could have just been like a small infatuation or like a close bond that borderline is romantic.
Yeah.
But there has to be something there that we need to see to really understand why Adam is who he is.
Yeah, and like...
I'm just hoping it's something like he was in love with her because he's crazy, and he's clearly still in love with her, and that she just was in love with him because he was, you know, fighting the fight, and like, you know, she more admired him and was like, oh my god, he's so awesome, and less of like...
Yeah, I think
romantic
she was more
and stuff.
infatuated with the idea of him than the person himself. But, like, and the fact that in Volume 3 he, like, calls her my love, and I'm like, oh, that entire scene I cannot watch, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Like, this whole thing is
I do think that at least at some point it went one-sided.
And Blake actually refers to Adam as her partner in Volume 2.
Yeah. And her mentor. She says he was my partner, he was my mentor, he was this, he was that.
Yeah.
But she's never, like, there's more to it than that. And we can obviously see that, especially by the way she talks about him in this specific conversation. Made me go, okay, they were involved. That's disgusting. Let's move on, please. Man.
But she's also very, like, I admires Ilya just as equally as well for elements that she carries that Adam doesn't. So it's weird, but it's very fascinating at the same time.
It is.
Yeah, I want to know how that dynamic actually was then, because like it seems very interesting, and that's why I'm like, I want to see more of Blake, because I want to see more of like how were her and Ilya like actually. Yeah. Especially how did that fit in with Adam, and
especially if it was enough to keep her staying in the White Fang with them over her parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty more of Ilya and Blake's dynamic very soon with what happens at the end of this episode. We'll talk about that at the end, but yeah.
I gotta ask though before we go any further on the scene, what's your guys' take on the fish faunus?
Oh, that was cool to finally see that. Yeah, the fish fauna swimming around in the water. That was really interesting. Yeah.
Was that one woman on the right? Does she have a fish tail?
Yes.
It kind
of looks.
Yeah, she did. She was a mermaid, essentially. Yeah. I believe somebody from the Caribbean was talking about mermaid faunus at some point. Aaron, thank you.
It was Aaron. Yeah,
Aaron. Was talking.
She's loving it.
Yeah, she is loving it. Yeah. William, what about a three-way now? Oh, Ilya, Adam, and Blake. Right, that's wrong. Dude.
Oh God.
What?
I mean, there's a ship name for it. There's gonna be a name for it.
Moving on.
No, I was actually going to ask, did the conversation that Blake and Son had during this episode remind anybody else of the one in Volume 1, Chapter 16?
Oh yeah, very similar.
It was very
vibe.
similar.
Yeah, I think that's deliberate, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a very similar sort of vibe to that. So the biggest thing I've noticed about Blake is that even though she's known Sun for quite some time now, probably like almost 2 years, it takes her a long time to open up about anything. But when she does open up about stuff, it's always to Sun, usually. And the thing I like about Sun is that when she's opening up to him, he's tentative, he pays attention, he listens, he lets her open up, which is a very good thing for someone like Blake who kind of, he's the yin to her yang is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Black Sun.
I think that term that she used, earnest, fits him perfectly because he's allowed free spirit who will grab your attention no matter what, and sometimes that's a bad thing, but he's also sincere and honest as well. You're not going to get any like bullshit with him. Yeah,
we need to talk about what she said about the words actually. So she said, and like
Ruby's
I found this in real life as well. So she said Ruby is the embodiment of purity, which we're like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. No arguments.
But she said Weiss is defiance, and I was like, yeah, that's really very true. Weiss was born into a life that she despises and she constantly rebels against, as we've seen plenty of evidence to.
But she's also a bit defiant socially to the point that it can be a bit conflictive.
Yes, of course. But we've seen those walls of hers starting to come down, especially with being reunited with Yang, and like how surprised Yang was when Weiss hugged her shows just how different Weiss's attitude towards people and her friends is now, especially after losing them. Yeah. Arnold said, I found it odd that while Blake and Sun had time to chat on the boat and their time in Menagerie so far, that we basically got a recap during their moment at the beginning of the chapter. Yeah.
Very recap-ish this episode.
Definitely.
And also of the Blake short.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my only complaint with the volume so far, is I had this issue last episode as well with the whole like rehashing of semblance and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I know that you have to rehash things for some of the like less attentive viewers and stuff, but like I don't like that it's eating up screen time.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to be fair,
the semblance stuff was okay, and the aura stuff was okay because it was like way back in the volume 1 was that when that was mentioned. This is a bit more recent, and you're only going to miss out on that if you haven't seen the trailers, which, at this point, why would you be doing that?
Exactly, yeah. And it's like they've got 2 extra chapters of screen time, so I feel like they're allowing concessions to put these kinds of things in that they feel like they need to rehash, and like, there are people who watch Ruby who haven't seen the shorts, the character shorts. So they have to put this stuff in the volume for those people, otherwise they're like, what the hell is going on? But honestly, if you watch the show, watch the goddamn show, watch every piece of it so you get all of the information. Don't just watch the episodes, because it goes so far beyond the episodes, like the World of Remnants, the character shorts. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Well, even Chibi drops pieces of information, like Ruby's birthday, October 31st. That was never said in the show, but now we know because it's in Chibi.
It's like the Kingdom Hearts series. Don't just play 1 and 2. You gotta play everything.
Exactly. Even the soundtracks, to an extent, Arnold says. Yes, of course. Even the soundtracks have that kind of information in them. That, like, if you look at a
even
song...
though they're a bit more out of context sometimes, but they do fit just as well.
Yeah. If you look at a song like I May Fall, which was on the Volume 1 soundtrack and not in the actual show until Volume 3, that told us that the fall of Beacon was going to happen 2 years before it happened, but nobody knew that until it happened. So, you know, there was, and like Red Like Roses Part 2, there's a huge heap of information about Summer Rose in there and her relationship with Ruby and what happened to her, and like the soundtracks, the shorts, Chibi, the World of Remnants. You have to watch and listen to everything, otherwise you're not going to get the entire picture. But a lot of people don't do that, and that annoys me.
And again, this information in this episode is still good and still like welcome stuff, but for most of the people who would have seen it, it's kind of just fluff-ish. But
it seems very filler-ish, which is very unusual for Ruby.
At least we do have the benefit of longer episodes, 2 more episodes, so it's not too egregious, but hopefully this doesn't become too much of a regular thing. Hopefully they're just getting all of that sort of stuff out of the way as quickly as they can to make room for what's more important later on in the volume. Like, we're 5 chapters into a 14-chapter season. We've got 9 to go. So we're not even halfway.
There's plenty of screen time left. Yeah, and like their biggest problem with Volume 4 was sharing screen time between 5 different storylines, at least 5 different storylines.
It's a bit more controlled this time. Well, to an extent.
Yeah, exactly. Arnold says no more World of Remnants. There aren't any World of Remnants this volume, but there is the Chibi holiday episodes, which are coming soonish. Expect them this month and December, I think. I think we'll get one over Thanksgiving, and then another over Christmas or around Christmas.
Those will probably be their breaks, for the 16-week season, so they'll probably use those 2 for the breaks.
I was chatting with Larissa about
it. Even without the World of Remnants, we're still going to get information a lot anyway in this volume.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with Raven coming up.
I feel like the biggest reason they did away with the World of Remnants this volume is because they have to actually explain a lot of that in the canon show.
Perfect form.
Sam MWK, thank you for following. They have to explain a lot of that stuff in the show because it's important. And it needs to be explained not only to the audience, but to the characters in the show as well. They need to know these things.
Yeah,
so
we couldn't have get Ozpin's stuff in a World of Remnant.
Yeah. Exactly. That would have.
I will say one thing with that is if they were going to do this whole volume about rehashing the information, it just seems weird that they would leave off in the chapter 1 what their confrontation with Corsican Fennec before the volume started.
Yeah.
That seems weird that they would leave that out when they would put this kind of stuff in.
Yeah. I don't know. Cory and I had a conversation about this. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or not, but
it was.
We thought it was odd that they left that out, but at the same time, I'm like, it goes back to the same issues that they've always had with pacing and what to include and what not to include. They've gotten better over the years, but definitely there's still some, like, I would have liked to have seen that as well. Even though Blake gave us a pretty detailed description about what happened, we can imagine what happened, but at the same time we
got the abridged version.
Yeah, we got the abridged version, and it's missing information, and I always hate missing information. But at the same time, I'm like, if it makes room for 3 more minutes of something else that's way more important, then I'll concede, but, you know.
Well, the thing that I said at the time was that I wish that that's what they had done for the Blake short, instead of just this random going after a dude. Like, because they still wanted it to be about Ilya, and they still could have done it, because as we learned from what they said about that thing is that they threw Ilya under the bus.
Yeah.
So like they still could have, like Ilya still would have been included in that.
And
So
then we could have got the stuff that we did get from that short regarding Ilya in this episode, and it would have been
which we did
fresher.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's all the Blake short definitely wasn't what any of us expected. I don't think that's the problem. It sort of it came out of left field a bit. With its
the
content.
flashback part of it was exactly what I expected.
Yes,
Just not the
but
modern day.
Not
stuff.
the current day stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You know.
Which is the whole thing with like Blake's storyline just being so disjointed. It's just like everybody else's story just seems like they're converging together. Blake's is just off doing her own thing.
Exactly. Blake is definitely.
But I get the feeling after this volume things will change.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
After this volume, they're gonna change up the format again, definitely, because Team Ruby will be back together by the end of the volume. That much is obvious. But where everyone else is headed on the path to being back together, very much on their way to it, Blake is still nowhere near, and the feeling is that something huge has to happen in her story to force her onto that path, basically. To force her out of Menagerie, because she's pretty happy just sitting pretty, you know, trying to get random people to sign her petitions and shit. Somebody's got to die. Or she's not going anywhere.
What could happen next?
Oh, man.
I think that she will be, like, she's already planning on, like, she's going to be at Haven at the time of the attack, because she knows when it's going to be because of the scroll.
Yeah.
So she does have, like, that trajectory.
We do have the benefit of the split time span.
Yes. As we learned from Chapter 3, Blake's timeline and the main story timeline are actually not synced up. So Blake's story is about a month behind the main story. Because when Gira was talking
I think Team Ranger would still be traveling at this point.
Yes, well, yeah, probably. So Gira was saying that the attack was 2 months away, but then Ozpin said it was 1 month away. So, you know, that gave us an idea of, like, the timelines aren't completely synced. Comic book lore, no parents surviving, William says. Well, they can't kill Carly or the fandom riots, but Gira is definitely fucked. Just gonna say that. I've said it from the beginning. Gira is screwed.
Put way too much relationship emphasis on Blake and Gira in the last volume for like they're building something up here, like a relationship, so that we get attached to the character, so that then gone.
I wish they would kill Raven.
The legs out.
That would be nice. William said, unless they're important like Raven, for fuck's sake. Why does Raven have to be the important one? Why can't Gira live and Raven die? I would like
One thing also is that Blake actually doesn't know that the others are in Haven, or they are going to Haven, because she left before that all happened.
Yeah, she's totally out
as
of
far
the
as she knows, Ruby and Yang are still in patch.
Yeah.
Right.
And like Corsac and Phoenix said, they're controlling the flow of information in and out of Menagerie. They don't even know that Adam has overthrown Sienna yet. They are so far out of the loop, it's not funny. So
it doesn't help the fact that they are on an island, so completely shut out from the world. The people who live on the island want to be shut out from the world, so it's the perfect platform for the Albanes to take benefit from.
Arnold says #fake news. Pretty much, yeah. God, this Menagerie is starting to look a bit like a dictatorship here, but you know, that's to be expected.
Gira's still in control.
Gira is sort of in control. He thinks he's more in control than he actually is, and that's the problem. It's going to be his undoing, definitely. Yeah, Gira's fucked. He's going to die in the next few chapters. Calling it.
I'm going to say it's Gira, Carly, and I'm still considering Sun at some aspect.
I feel like Sun's going to go before Carly does.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because I'm just like, if they kill Carly, people will be so angry. They cannot do that.
That didn't stop
kill
them with
any of them. They're not redheads.
That didn't stop them with Pyrrha, though. Yeah, of course. That didn't stop them with Pyrrha. Didn't stop them with Penny. And I'm like, oh god.
And Carly is a cat girl, and there's a trend forming.
Stop it. I don't want to think about it. Sam WMK said, "I'll be Abgri." Carly equals best mum, MILF mum. Gross. Thanks, Arnold.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
If they kill Carly, I'll be very upset. But Gira is screwed, and Sun, I'm still very worried for.
I'm worried for everyone. I'm even worried for Ilya.
I'm not that concerned about Ilya. I feel like at this point she's still too central to Blake's story to do away with. Mind you, they killed Sienna after we saw her for like 5 minutes. Just gone. And I'm like, we've talked about this, but it felt like such a waste of what could have been a really interesting character. But yeah, Ilya's already survived longer than Sienna, but she's very integral to Blake's side of the story at this point. And all the things they're setting up this chapter with, like, the potential for Ilya to get close to Blake only to betray her again, or even the possibility of Ilya switching sides altogether, which is a long shot, I think, at this point. We'll see what happens.
I don't think it's a long shot with Ilya. I think it's likely Ilya will end up helping Blake.
I think at this stage it's a long shot.
Yeah.
But that could be a different story in a few chapters' time. We'll see what happens.
I'm worried she won't help Blake soon enough, and that maybe
she's absolutely gonna, this is the law of storytelling. Like, she's absolutely gonna be too late to change her mind, but
I'm just hoping that, like, maybe she'll have a change of heart and lead Blake back to her parents in time to save Collie, maybe, so that way she doesn't die too.
I feel like
I just don't want her to die.
There's 3 ways that this can go down. Gira dies, Gira and Carly die, Gira dies, Sun dies trying to save Carly. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I could see the last part at the very least.
But Gira, either way, Gira is screwed.
I'm even tossing up the possibility that Blake does get captured.
That's true, that could also happen. And it wouldn't be the first time they've thrown a spanner in the works this volume, either.
Yeah.
We did not see Weiss's story arc coming, that's for goddamn sure. So, they could go any which way with this. They'll probably do what we expect least, because that's what they're always trying to do. But Sun dies protecting Gira. Yeah, that's also another possibility. Yeah.
I really like you. I see that.
I still don't like
that's
you.
That's about to happen.
Imagine if he says that. If Blake gets captured, it'll bring the reunion much quicker. Yeah.
Which might actually happen. That's probably what they're going towards. But it seems weird that they would do two capture stories of the fact that they're getting together. Raven captures Weiss, and Adam captures Blake.
Although I also feel like that if Blake is captured and taken to Adam, that spells death for Blake. So I'm like, I don't see how, in any possible way, she could get herself out of that situation. The only way she got away from Adam before was because Yang took a fucking arm for her. So, I'm like, how on earth would she get herself out of that?
I think Blake captured, and we get to explore the White Fang from within, which would be pretty cool. Something I would really love to see. And depending on what happens with Gira, Carly, and Sun, Ilya may feel guilt and possibly help her break out. Whatever happens there. Yeah. But that's a possibility.
It's true. But in order to do that, Ilya would have to leave Menagerie, and I'm like, there's this whole string of events that has to happen. I'm like, if Blake goes back up against Adam before she's ready, she's fucked. So I'm like...
Yeah.
And they're not going to kill Blake in Volume 5, for God's sake. There's like 4 more at least volumes to go. So, yeah. Oh, shit, man. I don't know what's going to happen. I hate not knowing what's going to happen. The show has been very unpredictable in recent days, so I'm like, I'm just not even going to bother trying to guess what's going to happen, because I'll just have to change it. Yeah, so I think we've prattled on about Blake quite enough for one podcast.
Since we were already kind of talking about the end bit, even though we skipped the middle
Let's
bit.
talk about the.
I was wondering if, like, do you think that the idea of Gira becoming a martyr if he dies, like, that's more likely than just...
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than what the Albane twins are hoping for?
Yeah, well, like they said, we could make a martyr out of him, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Gira's death will be the spark that ignites Menagerie, definitely.
And Blake will use that as well to help, like, seal the deal, because Giro did get a lot of support from his speech up until, obviously mentioned trying to go to Haven. Uh-huh. So people do support him. It's just the kicker.
Mm. And once the people hear about Sienna being overthrown by Adam, that will be, and then that combined with Gira's death will be enough, I think.
Mm-hmm. I also think that the best way that they could then take that from there is if, like, Blake was giving some kind of a press conference about, Gira's death and everything, and then she told her story like Gira wanted her to at the first press conference.
Beast Hacker Finder, thank you for following.
And I feel like her story will, plus Gira's death, plus the death of Sienna, will just create this big, like, we have to save Haven.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Blake is due a huge speech to fire up people. I think that's the reason why we missed out on it that previous time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To live up to that big moment when it happens.
Blake needs a big moment. Blake, obviously her arc is heading towards her leading the White Fang. Or her leading a group against the White Fang.
Right.
Yeah, she has to step up to a leadership role at some stage. Something huge has to happen before she does that. Likely the death of her family. Yeah, unfortunately. And I'll talk about Adam at the end, actually, with that bit that's at the end there. But moving on. There's a Oscar bit we have to get to still. We've been talking for a while.
But yeah. So the thing that he says, I mean, they have a conversation about how scared he is and everything. But the first thing I noticed in there is he says that he has fought things before. And did he say small grim or small grab?
Small grim?
Small grim.
I heard a B sound in there, so that's why I was like,
small
that
grim.
word's supposed to be grim. Why did I hear
the occasional small grim, he says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The occasional evil grim rabbit.
Yeah. It makes me wonder what kind of small grim there are that a 14-year-old boy could handle on his own. What does he do, though? Like, does he stab him with his pitchfork? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, maybe.
I guess. That's like...
So we do actually have, like, kind of a timeline
Just
now for
with a spade or something.
for Oscar, since he said he's had the cane for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So that means that they've been at that house for a few weeks.
I've got mixed emotions about that.
I don't know if that's just
honestly.
a miswriting or what, but, like, the fact that they said the attack was going to happen in a month, and then they said he's had the cane for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, how I mean, there's like 2 or 3 weeks. Is it going to happen next week? I mean, what?
Yeah.
That seems weird.
Yeah,
that's strange.
What I'm worried about, because I'm really worried about that, because I can understand why they did that to showcase that Oscar is quickly growing with the muscle memory and all that.
I feel like it's either a writing oversight or it's just a huge time skip. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it could just be a huge time skip just because, like, they obviously need to give them time to train. And I do feel like there is going to have to be some urgency within Ranger's thing of, like, going after the Spring Maiden and securing her before the fall of before the fall of Haven.
Yeah.
But then having to then get back for the fall of Haven and stuff.
Yeah.
And also, as we saw, like, Leo and Watts had that conversation with Salem after they originally showed up, which was around the same time that they had that initial conversation with Oscar Ozpin. And they have to give time for Cinder and Emerald and Mercury to get to Mistral, so they can then go
I just hope that we don't waste our time waste the potential of exploring Haven and Mistral and seeing some more characterization, because I still want to see Jean and Oscar Ospin like have a moment together, and I hope we get that even with this rushed pace that we're starting to get with the events in Haven.
And there's so much to get to. There's like Jean's semblance keeps being teased. They're building something up there, and Ruby getting better at hand to hand, which we've seen a tiny bit of, but nothing really substantial. I mean, she kicked a 14-year-old's ass, whoopie doo. She's still useless.
Part of me thinks that the stuff in Haven isn't going to end with this volume. I think the bad guys might win, but the next volume will be the heroes coming together and reclaiming Mistral, as it were.
Yeah, I feel like the Haven arc is still going to end this volume, because we're up to chapter 5 and they're moving things along very quickly as far as like getting towards the fall of Haven and all that's concerned. But I feel like beyond this volume we're not leaving Mistral just yet. But I feel like the fall of Haven is the penultimate event that this volume's building up to. And like the thing about
I could see that.
Volumes 1, 2, and 3 is that Volume 1 was basically an entire volume's worth of setup. So it doesn't really count towards the Beacon arc story. That's the biggest chunk of that is Volumes 2 and 3. And then they wrapped the arc up. But Volume 4 was, again, a bit more setup, but still heading on the path towards the fall of Haven. And now this volume, significantly longer, already so much longer than at any point in any other volume. Than at this point in any other volume, I should say. They're definitely building up to the fall of Haven here, and this volume will wrap up the Haven arc, and I feel like from here on out each arc will be 2 volumes long, and the only reason the first arc was 3 volumes is because of Volume 1, and everybody knows, like, you know, Volume 1 was just, let's not talk about Volume 1. Yeah, it seems like a writing oversight to me.
But I mean, there is still the other thing, though. I'm positive we're going to see Crow in the like Haven underworld recruiting shady huntsmen and stuff. Like, they have to show us that. If they don't show us that,
I think what they're going to do. What they're going to do is they're going to be showing Crow doing his reconnaissance and recruitment at the same time as we get Raven talking to Weiss and Yang. So we have their message.
That's volume. That's episode 6.
Yeah, chapter 6. That's that. Yeah, I agree. That's basically.
It will also reflect into Team Stark stuff.
Yes.
I think it would be very, very interesting if Crow ends up finding like Neo, and as a part of that.
That would be very weird.
I just think that would be really interesting.
And a possibility, yeah, good point. Also, they have like Weiss and Yang to work in there, and like the whole point of Yang showing up at Raven's camp was to get Raven to send her to Crow. Right now, Crow is not with Team Ranger and Ozpin. He's elsewhere recruiting huntsmen. So the way that they can tie all this in together is, like you said, Dan, we have Raven telling her side of the story, which I really don't give a shit about, to Weiss and Yang. And then Crow, doing his thing, looking for huntsmen. And then it's going to link the two of those by sending Weiss and Yang through to Crow. I feel like chapter 6, that's what it's going to be. And we need some more Salem and some more Leo and that. We haven't had that for quite some time, so I feel like chapter 6 is going to include all of that. It's probably going to be a bit shorter. This chapter actually was surprisingly long. It was like 15 and a half minutes. Without the credits and
that's kind of like the rough average for most of the episodes, I think, as well.
The shortest one so far was 4, and that was 14 minutes. But it was like a huge 14 minutes. Like a lot of important things happened.
Yeah, that felt longer than this episode, but that's because in this episode there was just so much
talking.
Nothing.
So much talking. Yeah, this is the chapter 8 of this volume. Like, this is the volume 4, chapter 8 of this volume, I think. This is the chapter that people are not going to care to rewatch because, it's like, we've heard that. We don't, whatever.
This is a character-focused episode, which it won't live long in the memory, but it will still, like, stepping stone help.
It is still important, and it does still need to be covered. Yeah. But none of us are going to be in a hurry to rewatch it. Hi, Jess. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the only episode that I had only seen one time. I didn't really care to watch it again. I mean, it was just like, alright, I've seen it. I got all the information I needed out of it.
I've seen it a few times for my content, but I think this will probably be one that, like, I'll remember it, but I won't remember the exact details as strongly.
No,
which I'm not even saying that as a bad thing. It's just this episode had a goal, it did it, but it's not going to be one that will be one live long in the memory.
No, not with everything else that's already happened and is still to happen this volume. Yeah. We need to talk about what Ruby said to Oscar about Penny and Pyrrha and all of that stuff.
Do we have to?
Yes, I'm sorry we have to. So, you know, Ruby is very much a positive energy force, and she tries not to let even the death of her closest friends get her down. But, you know, she talks about death and loss in a way that we've never heard her talk about before. And the thing I found the most interesting about what she was saying about Penny and Pyrrha was that she never said they died. She continuously said, I lost them. She says, when I lost them. She doesn't say they died or whatever. Oh, the only time she does is she says Pyrrha died fighting a battle she knew she couldn't win. But
and like, Penny was killed. And Penny was killed.
And Penny was killed to make a statement, yeah.
I think part of Ruby as a person when it comes to pain, loss, drama like this is she tries to reflect it because she wants to keep her hope, her happiness, her confidence still burning strong. It's basically a deflector shield coping mechanism, as it were.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also a lot for the benefit of the people around her rather than for her own benefit. She's a leader. She was a leader of Team Ruby. She's very much established in a leader role. So she's trying to make sure that maintaining her positive energy and maintaining her hope and her integrity for the sake of those that she is leading. So Team Ranger, for example.
Because she said that Pyrrha and Penny would do the exact same thing if it was the other way around.
Yeah. Exactly. And she was saying, you know, if I had been killed instead of Pyrrha, I know that Pyrrha would have kept fighting the fight, so that's what I'm going to do. And
I like the fact that Ruby was more than aware of the fact that Pyrrha was fighting a losing battle. I think that's going to be something that's I think that's going to be very important for Ruby if she's put into a certain position as well.
Yeah.
And it shows her maturity as well, which sometimes doesn't come across as well because of her coping mechanism, where she doesn't really showcase her emotions.
She doesn't.
Well,
really
Ruby is a natural-born leader, though. Ruby just seems to take on the leadership role like Jean does very well.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the stuff that she said to Oscar was very leadership-y. You know, just like, you know, you'll be fine. You know, we'll get through this. You know, you're braver than you think you are.
Yeah, exactly. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Pyrrha's death served a very, very important purpose. And that was not only to unlock Ruby's power, but it was to give Ruby the drive that she needed, to give Team Ranger the drive that they needed to keep fighting. And as she says, to keep moving forward. They need to stop using that quote, because every time I hear it, I cry.
As in you dropped it on us again. I lost when I watched it the first time.
That and Combat Ready.
I know.
Yeah, that one. So what's funny is I didn't even catch on that first time because I actually was literally looking at the game, like right as that was happening. So I was like, "Oh, there's a game plug for Combat Ready." I was like, "Oh wait, that was Penny."
Yeah,
I think my face was very similar to Ruby's, where I was smiling because she was giving off praise, and then the realization, and then it fades into a frown.
Yeah.
I love the expression work. The expression work in this episode was brilliant, that was one of them.
That 3 seconds where like Ruby's like, "You'll be combat ready in no time," and then her expression just falls, and I just went, baby. Like, I was like, it's okay, honey.
You want to give her a hug.
I know.
Yeah.
I like wanted to reach through the screen and squeeze her. I was like, it's okay. Never watched Meet the Robinsons. Haven't seen it. Refuse to watch it.
I think they've got that phrase in there.
Yeah. So, yeah, to hear Ruby talk about this stuff, like, we know everything that she's saying, but to hear her say it like she's saying, I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt, that I didn't think about them every day, that I didn't wish I spent more time with them. Who hasn't felt that way about someone that they've lost? You know, everybody can relate to that, no matter what the circumstances. Everybody's lost somebody. And,
I'm sure characters in the show themselves would be feeling the same way. That will help inspire them as well to follow in Ruby's steps.
Yeah. And, like, you know, Ruby, she knows all of this. She's hurting. She lost a friend. It sucks. She knows that. But she also can see how much everyone else is hurting as well. And she's trying to keep her strength for them. Like, the scene in Chapter 2 of last volume where Jean was training to Pyrrha's recording. Ruby was a witness to that scene, and she's like, oh my... She must be like, oh my god, Jean is hurting so badly over this, and she knows that she needs to maintain her strength for him, for Nora, for Ren, for everybody. So, like, you know, Pyrrha was part of their team. They were closer to Pyrrha than Ruby was. And she knows that. So I feel like she tries to keep it together for them because she knows if this is how badly I'm hurting, imagine how badly they're hurting. And yeah, it's just way to bring them tone down, but
yeah,
yeah.
But that's what the episode did. Is it did bring the tone down a lot there.
No, I appreciate the fact that Ruby opened up like this to Oscar, because I think those two share a lot in common.
Yes, they do.
There's one thing I noticed is like Oscar, he wanted to be something more, but he also wanted to be normal. And of course, way back in Volume 1, Ruby said she just wanted to be a normal girl with normal knees.
Yeah,
but. Both have taken up something that is far grander than them. They've tried to understand it. They've grown through it. They've struggled, and I think that's why Ruby is going to be a huge inspiration to not just everyone, but specifically Oscar.
Yeah.
And I think obviously there's a good connection between the two because they're both young kids, and Ruby's got some connection as well with Ozpin. But I think maybe even more than Jean and everyone else, the way we see how Ruby's progressing as a inspiration and a bud of hope, it will be through the actions and reactions of Oscar.
I just saw William in the chat share a lot in common. Damn, the Rose Garden's taken over, Dan. No. No Rose Garden on this podcast.
I will admit, they are cute.
Speaking of that, side note, if Ruby and Oscar are going to be a thing, Ozpin has to go. Because that's creepy.
It's weird. It's weird with Ozpin there. It's so weird.
It's just like, Ozpin somehow has to either get another body or be dead.
Go away, Ozpin. It's weird, okay?
I'll admit, I'm not too much of a shipper in terms of the characters. Of course, I've done a lot of research in that stuff, but
God,
if I would have to say, my favorite Ruby ship is still kind of White Rose. But if Ozpin goes and it's just Ruby and Oscar, they fit very well. They got good chemistry already, and the stuff with the fan art, it's won me over a little bit as well.
Yeah, well, the thing
but
about...
he's 14.
Yeah, I know. The thing about...
She's 16, so that's actually not that
people.
The thing about ships in this show is that... The thing about relationships is that there are more important things to focus on. Like, way more important things to focus on for the characters.
Not to some of the fandom.
No. I mean, in terms of the characters, for them, there are way more important things to focus on.
Oh, yeah.
Even Nora and Renora have gone on the back burner for a bit now, because there are more important things to focus on, and they know that. They're like, we have to...
the most well-cemented relationships so far, other than Arcos for obvious reasons, tend to be the already established ones like Gira and Carly, and even splintered ones like Crow and Raven, and Ty and Raven to an extent. But you see the impacts there. The stuff with other characters, Renora, Rose Garden, White Rose, and all that, that's just gonna have to develop over time. It ain't gonna be a big thing, because put yourself in those shoes. Would you want to be thinking about, oh, that guy is cute, or holy crap, someone's trying to kill me?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like, a lot of the audience cannot put themselves in the character's shoes, because who the hell can imagine what this situation is like? And like, you know, we have to realize that to these characters, there are far more important things going on. Even established partnerships, like you said, like Renora, they're like, okay, yeah, I mean, this is a thing, but like, there are more important things for us to worry about than each other right now. So,
in context, not as key right now until it's an actual story point. Outside of it, go nuts. Just do whatever you want. Just make sure you remember to separate shipping from the narrative when it's not a factor.
Exactly. I do want to say something about this, because on my reaction to Chapter 4, some people in the comments were going nuts about Freezer Burn and thinking that I ship Freezer Burn. I do not ship Freezer Burn, nor do I ship Bumblebee, nor White Rose, nor any of that. I ship what's canon. And beyond that, I ship nothing. And, like, I don't mind if you ship people, do what you want. Just for fuck's sakes, be respectful to one another. Like, seriously, there were so many, not so many, but there were a few people leaving extremely rude, disrespectful comments directed at me, directed at other shippers. And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not even a shipper, so check your facts. But secondly, why are you being an asshole? It doesn't matter. Like, if you don't like shipping, don't fucking go on Tumblr. Like, seriously. That is the best way to avoid it. But seriously, let people be. Do what they want. You know, I've said before, like, I've condemned ships before. I've been like, it's weird, why do you ship that? But at the same time, I'm not going to go up to those people's faces and be like, oh, you're a fucking dickhead, why do you ship that? Like, some people have literally said to me, and I'm like, whoa, you know, just rein yourself in there. Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter.
That one dude said that.
It's a loud minority,
you were ruining the show because you shipped Freezer Burn, which you don't even.
Somebody was like,
that's the team attack name.
Somebody literally said on my reaction, they were like, oh, I dislike because you're a filthy Freezer Burn shipper. I was like, A, I'm not a shipper. B, get the fuck out of here. I don't even care. Dislike if you want. I don't care. Like, you're insignificant compared to the vast majority of people in the Ruby community who are loving, supportive, respectful people who just want to love the show and just get on with it.
Even if you are a shipper as well, you're still there's a lot more respectful people in the shipping community than the loud minority.
Some people are insane. It's like you said, it's a loud minority. That's the problem. Some people are
We talked about this recently.
Yeah, we
Was
did.
it on one of the Icebreakers? Was it the one we did for shipping where we had a fairly in-depth conversation about like shipping and respect?
Yeah. Ship who you want, do what you want in your own spare time. I don't care, but be respectful of other people's opinions, of other people's whatever they ship, whatever they don't ship. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking fictional show, for Christ's sake.
Treat others how you want to be treated.
Exactly. Just respect one another, please. That's the only thing I ask of people in the comments on my videos. Be respectful, and also like. I clap back at people a lot when they're very rude. If somebody is going to leave a comment saying, oh, fuck you, filthy shipper, I'm going to be like, get the fuck out of here. I don't even care. Like, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you leave rude, disrespectful comments directed at me, directed at anyone else, I will block you, and that will be that. Because your hatred is not welcome on my channel. In any form, in any shape. Get the fuck out of here. If you're going to be like that, I don't even want your views, I don't want your likes, I don't want your dislikes. Get out of here. There's plenty more where that came from. So I just want if anyone happens to see this who is a person who does this, I just want you to know you're insignificant, you don't matter. Okay? Alright, moving on.
Let's get back on topic.
Yes! Woo! Let's get back on topic. How the hell did we get onto that?
I remember. Literally, Ruby and Oscar.
Yes, okay.
I think William said something about Rose Garden, and that was how we got there.
William, you derailed us again, goddammit. You gotta stop doing that, bro.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah, exactly. William says, me and Cory get on well enough when we interact. Shipping two characters doesn't make a person, exactly. Like, I even shipped the hell out of John Locke. Let's throw that out there. But I know it's never, like, even Sherlock, you know, I don't even know if it's going to get another season. But if it did, John Locke's never going to be canon. But I still like it. Like, who cares? Like, it's fiction. Get over it.
Happens.
Yeah, so anyway, that's my opinion on all of that. Moving on. What else happened in this scene? I think that pretty much... Oh,
before we go into a further topic, I want to say, did anyone catch the Buster Sword that was in the weapon lineup in that scene with Oscar and Ruby?
Yes, I saw it.
I was...
That I just remembered that, and I thought, oh wait, maybe someone else caught that.
Yeah, I saw it. I did notice it.
Yeah.
I didn't mention it in my reaction, but I noticed it. I was like, I was internally
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
yeah.
I see it now. I have the episode open. I'm just scanning through it.
So, what Ozpin says about Ruby, he says she really is remarkable, isn't she? And Oscar's like, oh, she must have been one of the best huntresses, and we're all like, no. But
She makes a good food fight.
Ozpin says that, but in a kinder way. He's like, in some ways she was, in some ways she wasn't, but she possesses something that a lot of people don't have, and that's the spark. We've heard a lot of talk about the spark, like at the end of Volume 3, Salem finishing the speech.
She's Optimus Prime.
Sure. At the end of Volume 3...
I was thinking Pikachu.
Now that's reminding me of my frickin' Transform AMV, the Optimus Prime bit in there. Well, they've both seen it, there you go. Yeah, oh, Dan, I know you saw it because you left a comment, didn't you? Yeah, so, what the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, so
Spark.
Salem talking about the spark, finishing off her speech at the end of Volume 3 from the beginning of Volume 1. She talks about a spark and being enough to ignite change, and like, they talk about the smaller soul, which we've established is most likely Ruby. And like, Ozpin reiterates here, she possesses a spark that inspires others. Look at the little Ruby figure, it's so cute. Beowulf.
I'm still not unpacked. I don't have any of my Ruby things.
Yeah, Cory
I
moved
raised you a
house
Ruby over
recently.
Grim.
He's only just got his posters up in the background, so, yeah, but Ruby...
The spark thing, do you think that Salem and them are referring to the Silver Eye thing, or is it something else?
I think
it's just Ruby as a person.
Yeah, I think it has a lot more to do with Ruby's personality.
Right, yeah.
She just seems to be able to inspire others, and we saw it work very quick magic on Oscar here. She's like, you know, all this bad shit has happened to me, but I'm not the only one who suffers, and like, we need to help each other to get back up on our feet, and
she's a natural born huntress.
Exactly.
I mean,
nobody can do this alone. Is basically.
And I like the fact that Ozpin said that in some ways she is remarkable. She is like one of the best, but she's also a normal person. And I think Ozpin said that to help comfort Oscar as well, because of course he's got his insecurities.
Yeah, he kind of says to Oscar, like, it might seem like it, but Ruby's not perfect, and neither is anybody. Ozpin is definitely not perfect. But, you know, she's like, she has her faults like anybody. She has her flaws like anybody. And it's learning to overcome those things that is part of the journey.
That spark that Ruby has, do you think Summer had the same thing?
I
Possibly.
feel like Ruby is her mother's daughter, very much so.
Right, yeah. They probably get it. They're very similar.
Well, Yang did say that she's like baker of cookies and slayer of Grimm, so
Slayer of
they've got
giant
some
monsters,
elements
yeah.
that shared.
William has quoted Divide here. One spark can incite their hope and ignite the hearts of their weary souls. Yeah, that was in the Volume 3 credits song Divide. Yeah, so... Yeah, Ruby is the spark that ignites hope. And she... Yeah, it's like Jean says to her last volume, you didn't drag us along, you gave us the courage to follow you. And like that was a really
it's worked on those two. It's gonna work on more, but she's gonna be tested.
She will be tested. But they're setting up some very huge things as far as Ruby's character and leadership is concerned. But yeah,
have you seen Lindsay's tweet?
Yes, I was just thinking about that.
I've not seen Lindsay's tweet. What did she tweet?
Bless her heart. She was in such an emotional and such like. A scene where she had to give her all for the recording. She actually had to leave the recording area and go throw up.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
And she come back and she nailed it. And she, bless her heart, she teased us again about what we're gonna get. I think Neith did that as well.
Neith, I need to talk about Neith's tweet.
They can't help themselves.
I need to talk about Neith's tweet because Neith for those of you who don't know, Neith voices Ren in success of his brother Monty. So Neith tweeted, because he was watching everybody's reactions to Chapter 4, he often watches all the reactions, he just won't comment a lot, because, you know, he watches a bunch of them at a time. I know he's commented on Larissa's before. Dan, has he commented on yours before? I think he has.
Not that I know of, but I would be thankful either way, I don't mind.
I think he has seen yours, though. And
cool.
I know he's seen mine,
I know Monty... I know Monty's seen one of my old reviews back from Volume 2, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Because he sent a tweet about it.
Oh, wow.
That was by the way, I just posted it in chat.
Thank you, Wade. There's the Twitter status if y'all want to look at it. What was I saying? So Neith tweeted out, I was watching Chapter 4 reactions, seeing all of the feels, and you guys haven't seen anything yet. And we're like, I tweeted back at him, I was like, fuck you! I didn't say that, but I was like, how dare you! Like, do not do this to us.
Those guys in the crew, they know how to bait us. They know how to hook us line and sinker.
They so do. And, like, even this chapter is evidence of what Neith was tweeting about. And, like, if all of us got so emotional at the Freezer Burn reunion, we know how emotional it's going to be when they reunite with Ruby, when Blake comes back to the group. Like, there's a whole bunch of shit that's got to happen still.
And I think that's going to be a benefit for this episode as well, that we need a slower pace episode before we rise to God knows what.
Right, which is kind of what happened last year with Menagerie, that episode also. Which was episode 5 also.
Yeah. Yeah, this volume needs a subtitle. Volume 5, The Fandom Loses Their Minds. The fandom collectively loses it. My God.
The Feels a Coaster, Part 2.
Yes. The feels are just too much. Yeah, so... I've lost my train of thought completely now. Yeah, alright, moving on from the Oscar scene to the final scene with Finnick and Corsic. So,
the creepy brothers.
Yeah, I found something really interesting about the scene, in that there is an obvious amount of doubt in the Albane brothers about Adam's leadership, about the people of Menagerie.
His mental stability.
Yeah. They're not just blind submissive slaves, as it turns out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so thankful for that.
They're giving these characters depth, which is good to see. That they're showing, like, these guys aren't just following orders. You know, they're not sure about this. And like they even say, "Is Adam the one to lead us?" And the other one says, "Well, for now." And it's like, well, they're thinking about the big picture, the long term. But yeah, I don't know. I
like the fact that. I like the fact that Adam's emotional, like, shakiness is not being missed out on by those underneath him, because so often you get, like, the villain who's starting to lose their mind, but everyone underneath just follows along blindly. So the fact that even if it's just the higher ranked Albane twins starting to see it, I'm at least thankful for that, because they're not stupid.
Yeah, like, they even say, "Oh, he looks unwell." And I'm like, you think? Not unwell.
Can we talk about
a little stressed?
Unstable is the word I would use, you know.
Unhinged.
Well,
Yeah.
you've seen Arnold's tweet about like him being like 100% rage filled and that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
I want to borrow a quote from Good Morning Vietnam. Adam is in more dire need of a blowjob than any white man in history at this point.
Semblance of Sanity YT, thank you for following.
Hey.
Woohoo, Ruby Podcast, yeah! So, yeah, like, oh my god, Adam. I'm just so afraid of Adam. I'm not afraid of him, I'm afraid of what he can do, is the thing.
He's an unhinged animal at this point. There's no controlling him, and I like the fact that we're not just getting worries and doubts from Hazel, and that will reflect, of course, on Cinder's side, but in regards to the White Fang as well. Maybe we'll start to see White Fang members actually defect to Blake's side.
Yeah. I feel like Adam's ascension to leadership is going to divide the White Fang, in a sense that some of them, like you say, some of them will look for a better alternative. And they'll find that alternative.
Even if Adam and the White Fang get a victory at Haven, small victories like people leaving will be at least some benefit to Blake and the heroes.
I mean, we saw the effect that the fall of Beacon had on not just Vale, but the entire world. And after the fall of Haven, I feel like people are going to take a step back and go, whoa, like the world is actually going to fall apart. If we continue on this path, maybe this isn't the best idea, and that's where we're going to get the most division. War will be a certainty. Yeah, well, war is already a certainty. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a war is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, but I think at this point it's like still at the bit where people are doing their best to try and stop it. If Haven falls, which will most likely happen, then it's not a question of if, but when.
Yeah. Semblance of Sanity says the petulant child with too much power. He needs to sit in the corner and think about what he's done. Yeah.
Go to your room.
Adam Taurus is the Joffrey Baratheon of Ruby.
Yeah.
It's going to be
but way scarier. Actually, he's more like the Ramsay Bolton.
Here's a question:
Ooh,
Who kills Adam eventually? Is it Blake or Yang?
Blake.
I want to say both of them together.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I mean, he's literally a raging bull, is what he is, and I feel like the only way is that Blake is going to have to go at him and be like, "Come at me," and he's going to be so blinded by kill that he won't see Yang coming, and that's probably how he will go, or even just the rest of Ruby.
I think it's going to be symbolic for Blake to end Adam, because if she stayed in the White Fang, maybe she could have stopped him, and I think in a symbolic way, she needs to be the one to stop Adam, because I don't think anyone else would fit as well
on the other
in terms
side
of emotional barrier.
On the other side of that argument, Adam did sever Yang's arm. She has unfinished business with him.
Oh, right. Yang is going to get her payback. She is going to deck that boy right back to the Stone Age.
I feel
but Blake needs a killing blow.
Adam is an obstacle that Yang and Blake have to tackle together. Definitely. Whether they do it with the rest of Team Ruby or not, it is a mild concern. But Bumblebee have to tackle this obstacle together because it's holding both of them back.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I say Bumblebee, I use it in reference to Blake and Yang, not their ship, for fuck's sake.
We know.
Cory sitting over there, tingling every time I say Bumblebee.
You always say Bumblebee.
Yeah, I do, but
like
when I use the ship,
I mean, if you're going to refer to both of them at the same time, that's what you call them.
When I use the ship names, it's just easier than saying Blake and Yang. I'm like, Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who Bumblebee is.
I wanted to ask, did anybody else think that during the recording when Adam was talking with Korza Confetti, when he put his hand over his face, did anybody else think he was pulling his mask off? Because I thought he was.
A little bit, but it's obviously just like when you...
I know, when he was like, I'm just going to calm my face down. But at first I'm like, oh, is he pulling his mask off? I'm like, oh, he's not doing it. I was so excited.
I stand by the fact that the fact that Adam is the only one who hasn't taken off his mask. When it does come off, there will be a reason for it. Either it's where you finally see the man behind the beast, maybe as he dies, or something like that. But there's got to be a reason why we haven't seen Adam's face.
You took the words right out of my mouth, and I feel like the reason we haven't seen Adam's face is because seeing his face would humanize him. And the problem with humanizing him...
Take him away from the beast.
Keeping the mask on keeps him a monster. Yeah. And as the minute we see his face, it humanizes him, and we don't want to humanize him because he is a monster. That's the thing.
And it kind of reflects as well with the Beauty and the Beast element. Once the Beast is no longer a factor in that story arc and his relationship with Belle, he becomes a human again.
Exactly. Yeah. And like
I think he will die a human.
Yes, he will. When his mask comes off, because that is a thing that will happen, it will humanize him, and we won't know how to feel about it, I think.
Well, it will faunicize.
Oh, I'll be sitting over here going, yeah, he's dead.
Go for the eyes.
I will say, I did see a very interesting theory about his mask and why it doesn't show his face. I don't know how much anybody believes this, but like the symbol for the Silver Eyes so far has been a rose with Summer and Ruby, and Adam's symbol is also a rose, so it's possible that he has silver eyes.
I have heard this theory as well. It's definitely a possibility. Another theory I heard was that perhaps...
Because we don't know his semblance. We only know what his weapon.
Another theory I've heard is perhaps he's disfigured behind the mask, perhaps he's blind even.
Right.
I don't think he's blind just because he seems to be able to, like...
See.
Express.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be like Daredevil.
Yeah. He definitely seems to be able to
The one I've seen the most, and I think it came from Arnold, I think it was, but a lot of people have been thinking that he's not actually a Fornus. The horns are connected to the mask. You take the mask off, and he's just a human. I've seen a lot of people like debate that lately, and I don't really believe that myself. I think he is truly a Fornus because it works for his character.
Yeah, I wouldn't see the point in that at all. Like, it would just make his entire purpose completely and utterly, like, chuck it out the window.
Yeah, right. Especially because like he is supposed to be the embodiment of like radicalized ideals.
Yeah,
that would kind of devolve him as a character, pretty much.
It would, yes.
He will only be human when it comes to the end, but that's symbolic, nothing else.
But the Silver Eyes is definitely my favorite theory at this point, and there's heavy symbolism to support that theory as well.
Right.
Ruby's all about the symbolism, so one day we'll find out. It's not going to be one day soon, but you know.
Well, you mentioned symbolism. There was one thing I caught like a couple of weeks ago. I think it was sometime after Sienna's death and after I put my review on it, but I think it was something to do with his emblem and the fact that in the Jungle Book story, they refer to fire as the red flower. That's what he's got on his back, and Shere Khan was afraid of fire, and look what happened in that episode. Yeah.
Shere Khan, Sienna Khan, rather, is a direct reference to Shere Khan, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can get away with that sort of really heavy referencing stuff when it's a character that lives for 5 minutes and then is killed. So, but you know, whatever.
Well, I mean, we also still have Beauty and the Beast walking around and Goldilocks, and like, I mean, those ones are still pretty heavily symbolized.
Yeah. There's a lot of the story origin elements that will play into the story itself.
Definitely. So in some ways we can predict how this is gonna, like, how these things are gonna play out because we have these bases for the stories, but Ruby likes to take things that exist and twist it into something else, and that stems from Monty. Like, that was what he did, you know, look at Dead Fantasy. And yeah, like, Adam is still very much a wild card and a very scary one, definitely. We know what he's capable of, or perhaps we don't. Perhaps we've only seen the tip of the iceberg as to what he's capable of. And what he says...
I mean, we've seen him cold-blooded murder somebody and cut off someone's arm.
Yep.
Like, I hope that isn't just the tip of the iceberg.
I think one thing I could easily see him doing is like leading a huge massacre of innocent humans.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even more so than the Beacon stuff, like a random attack on a human village.
Yeah.
Even he could massacre people in Menagerie. I can see him just going so far gone that he goes for that if they're against him.
What he says in the recording, he's like, bring the deserter to me alive, but not before you slaughter her family. I have a promise to keep. And that promise was the one he made to her in Volume 3 when he was like, I'm going to destroy everything you love. And like,
I gotta give big props to Garrett Hunter, his voice actor, for that bit, because that was very chilling.
I think that's the... Are you talking about Volume 3 or Volume 5?
In that scene, this episode.
Yeah.
Volume 5, yeah.
I feel like that's the best that he's done as far as voice acting for Adam goes.
It's some of the best, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately that doesn't say much. But his voice
He has improved.
His voice acting has been questionable at the best of times, but yeah, no.
The lines for him though were not that great either.
Yeah, there's not a lot to work with as far as his lines are concerned. Like, you're a completely psychopathic, bloody angry man
Spiteful.
who's really creepy and spiteful. Here you go, work with it. And it's like, well, what the fuck do I do with this? Yeah. So on a level, I sympathize.
It's a challenging role to play.
It is a challenging role to play. It's a challenging role to play interestingly, I think, is the problem, because he is at the present time so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
He's
And again,
the
props
big bad
for
guy.
this, but
Yeah, he's the big scary bad guy who's really creepy and had a relationship with a minor, and you know, it's just all gross. Everything about him.
The voice acting as well. You say.
No, I was just gonna say, best voice acting of the season so far probably been Aaron Dismuke as Oscar.
Yeah.
With him like
God,
imitating
he's so
Osmond, that was fantastic.
And like
some of the best in the show.
The difference when they get, to no discredit to everyone from Rooster Teeth who does voice acting, they've really come into their characters over the years. They're all fantastic. They've had roles in things before. When they bring on professional anime voice actors, you can hear the difference. My God, Aaron is so good as Oscar because he's a pro. He's done so many different anime.
He's been doing it since he was a kid.
He's been doing this a very, very long time. You know,
I want to hear Sabat more as Watts.
Yes, Watts is very good as well. Leo, Winter Schnee, you know, everybody like that. Crow, of course. Vic Mignogna, who's just amazing.
And that praise also should go to J. Michael Tatum and Derek Mears in this episode for the Albanes. Because we're getting new aspects of them, and they sell it so well, but in that chilling, like, cultish voice that is just so captivating and chilling.
It's so calming and chilling. Yeah. Like, it's just like they want to.
It works for their manipulative factor, because when I can't remember if it's Corsic, who's played by Derek Mears, when he touches Ilya on the shoulder and says, "A necessary sacrifice," it is so perfect. It worms into her ear. It makes her like convince herself that she needs to do this. It's brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and like when you're voicing a character on an animated show, it's not like live action where, you know, you have your expression, your body language, you know, it is all in the voice, and it's incredibly difficult to do. And it's like with any element of a TV show, if you don't notice it, that's when they're doing their job well. When you believe a character that, like, an animated character that doesn't even really look real, it looks drawn, and when they voice act it so well that you believe it, that's like, you know, it's a pretty extraordinary thing that these people can do.
I mean, that was what was basically incredible about Vic in Volume 3. I mean, he didn't really hang out with Rooster Teeth at all. He was given a script and read all the lines by himself. And he
in his bedroom in LA, yeah.
Right. And he said, like, he did, like, several versions of them and everything like that. He was just like...
And he's never been drunk in his life.
Exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the type.
No.
Yeah, no, Vic Mignogna, you know, he's a pro. He's incredible. He's done so many anime. I couldn't even list how many he's done, but I've always been a big fan of his work. But you know, it's just incredible. Even Lindsay, Barbara, Aaron, and Kara have just done so much with their characters in recent episodes. Like, Barbara's on a whole nother level with Yang right now than she's ever been. Yeah.
That's why I said, like, last time with the I always forget that she's Barbara when she's Yang, except when she said "damn it" last week, because that was just it was different for Yang, and that's why I suddenly heard Barbara again. But most time I'm like, it's Yang.
Yeah,
the Ruby girls have been fantastic, and full credit to them. They've been giving it their all throughout the entire show.
They've grown into their voices very well, and they've grown into their characters.
Yeah.
And their voices have evolved with it. Now, the only thing with that is in reverse. I kind of wish the voice happened in reverse for Lindsay. Her voice has gotten a little higher and a little higher pitched on the later years. If you listen to Volume 1 Ruby, I prefer that tone of voice as opposed to the higher tone she's gotten now. It's still good, but it's just like, I just prefer Volume 1 Ruby voice.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Where Babs is concerned, she's been given an incredibly difficult job with Yang, because, last volume, Yang's tone changed completely, and now this volume it's changed completely again. And, she's doing such an incredible job of keeping up with it, and just making us, all of them are doing an incredible job of making us believe the characters and believe the character development, more importantly.
Yeah.
It's not so much with Blake, but with Weiss, definitely, and Yang the most, and not so much with Ruby. But even Ruby talking about some pretty heavy shit this chapter that we haven't heard her talk about before. It's a side to Ruby that we've not seen, and Lindsay sold it so well. And like you said,
I said she puked, so she's giving it her all.
Exactly, she's giving it everything. And Weiss. My favourite line of Weiss's was from last chapter when she says, "I missed you so much," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like
that, and subtlety is out.
Subtlety is out.
Yeah.
And the way she delivered that line in chapter 1, but they'll die. And, that's another of my favourite lines.
That was pretty good.
The characters are developed, and so have all the voice actors across the board. It's fantastic work.
The actors have developed alongside their characters, and it's doing wonders for the voice acting. Yeah, definitely. Props to all the voice actors. They're incredible. The only one I question is Adam. So still not the biggest
And you've
fan.
You've questioned him since the Black trailer.
Oh, let's not even talk about the Black trailer, because even Aaron was shocking in that trailer. But even from then to Volume 1 was a huge improvement. But looking at Volume 1 to now, it's the characters have gone through so much development. Especially Weiss was such a bitch when we first met her in Volume 1, and now she's leaps into Yang's arms I missed you, don't ever leave me again.
Weiss easily has the best character development so far in the show.
Absolutely.
There's no question about it. She's absolutely had the best.
Yeah. And that's why we love her.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah, and Yang has also had a lot of development, but in almost the opposite direction to Weiss, which creates a really interesting dynamic between the two of them. In that,
and hopefully we see more of those two together as well.
Yes, please, God. Chapter 6, more Freezer burn, or we riot. For fuck's sakes, they made us wait an extra week to see what's going to happen. We need to see more of them.
The show is just so much different when the girls are apart as opposed to together.
It is so much different.
So, if they show them together talking to Raven in Chapter 6, it's just going to be, I don't know, I'll like that volume so much more than... or that chapter so much more than this one.
Yeah.
Just based on that reason, at the very least.
It changes the entire dynamic. And I mentioned in my reaction to Chapter 4 that this show has not felt the same since Team Ruby split up. It has not been the same. And now that at least two of them are back together, you can feel the dynamic shift.
And it's going to be completely different to how it used to be when they do finally get together.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Completely.
It will be different, but it will be familiar at the same time. And we've waited for a very long time for the team to get back together, and it's starting to happen now. But like you say, it's not going to be the same as it was, but it is going to be a familiarity that will be welcome, and it's the dynamic of the entire show will shift once the team does reunite. I feel like it's still not going to happen for quite some time as far as Blake is concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not getting a Ruby Weiss Yang reunion even in Chapter 6. They're going to push that back because they.
No.
Yeah. They're going to.
There's
Maybe
still
like
more
Chapter
to be
8.
gained with the split.
Chapter 8, probably.
They're going to milk this for all it's worth. Yeah. Make us wait as long as they possibly can. Yeah, they won't get to reunite with Ranger immediately because Crow is not in the picture with Ranger at the moment. Yeah, so but they're not aware of that, of course, Weiss and Yang. So,
one last thing about the episode, or I mean, on my part, is the last part where it was the guy Yuma, the Faunus we met at the end. He mentioned Gira's messenger being stopped. We didn't see the messenger at all, did we? I mean,
No,
unless
no.
I just okay, I didn't think we did.
We didn't need to see him. We just needed to know that the message.
That was more, that was more just an
won't be there.
assumption. Yeah.
because Gira said
No,
that
I
I've
like
sent
the
a
fact that
messenger. Yeah,
I like the fact that he's also voiced by Lanny Pateur.
yeah. The bat faunus, yeah, as we think he's.
And
a
yeah,
bat faunus.
another new faunus. We've seen a bat and a fish faunus.
We've seen fish, we've seen mermaid, we've seen bat, we're seeing all kinds of different things. We've seen the faunus from the Blake short that they were chasing. He was a
Reptile.
No?
Yeah, he was a reptile.
Oh, yeah, he
That's
was a
the word.
reptile,
Yeah, reptile.
we-
Like
we
trying to
needed
recruit
to see
the
more-
X-Men.
Yeah,
We've been needed to see more while the fact we are in a faunus haven.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. See, we've had these questions about the faunus for so long. Like, are there fish types? Are there, what kind of mammals are there? Are there reptilian faunus? And now we're getting all of these answers because we are in a place that is full of faunus. So it would make sense for them to show all of this to us now.
It doesn't make sense that they're swimming with their clothes on, but hey, we'll take it as it is.
I mean, it's hot in Menagerie. They'll dry.
I was to say it's a kids.
What if Gira
Although,
sent
can
5 messengers as a backup plan? I don't think he's that clever, unfortunately.
But again, that's also another benefit for the fact that the villains are controlling all the information, everything on an island. They have such a huge high ground right now on the villains,
Yes.
on the heroes, that it's going to be interesting to see them get knocked down a peg eventually.
Yes, it will be, definitely. Oh, boy.
I wonder though if it's going to be Yuma who will be the one attempting to assassinate Gira in that.
Possibly. I mean, they've introduced him for a reason. So
Yeah, I bet Yuma's probably going to be like, he's going to watch over the situation with Ilya and Blake. And like with Ilya's probably going to be the one that they're expecting to take care of the Belladonnas. But Yuma's probably going to be there as like make sure that she does it.
yeah.
I think Ilya's just the distraction because they don't want to risk Blake getting involved at all. So
Right, yeah,
it will
that's
be like Yuma will fly in, try and get out as well
I
with
feel like-
relative ease, and then they'll paint it on someone else.
Yeah, Ilya's purpose is to get Blake out of the way.
Yeah, they said
And
that
then,
they
then
didn't
get her
want her
captured.
Yeah.
didn't want to give her the chance to defend her family, and also I'm pretty sure they were like, I don't know if we can trust Ilya to kill the Belladonnas.
Hi, Gold. You missed us talking about Adam's promise earlier. His promise was the one he made in Volume 3 to destroy everything Blake loves. William posted it. Thanks, William. So Ilya, we've seen the dynamic between Blake and Ilya. Each is hesitant to harm the other, but Ilya didn't hesitate to harm Sun when he got in her way. And now she's recoiling because she's being essentially asked to pull Blake out of the way so they can kill her parents, which she's like, I don't know if I'm okay with that.
on Sun, the fact that she attacked Sun, he also did say that she doesn't look like a faunus, and of course that hits her personally with all the stuff in the past. But I like the fact that because Ilya's involved with possibly Gira and Kali dying, I think the fact that she lost her parents, that is going to be a huge deciding factor on if Blake will be able to convince her to stop the assassination or not, because she's connected so well with Blake. They've shared a lot in common. She even said herself she joined the White Fang for the same reasons that Blake did.
Yeah,
and I think
the stories are very similar.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's really going to depend on, is Ilya going to be another Blake or another Adam? And that will depend on, will Ilya see sense, because she's
on the fence right now. That's the thing.
She's experienced the loss of parents. She's lost her parents. Does she want to put someone who she's willing to warn at one point? Is she willing to go that far, or is her loyalty to the White Fang, her need for vengeance, for payback, anything, which weighs out more? And that's going to be the deciding factor.
And that's the thing here. There's an element of empathy with Ilya because she knows what it's like to lose her parents, and I don't think she's going to want to do that to Blake.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, just, even with when they said that Sienna was dead, she kind of like, she didn't seem okay with that. Like, you know, even though she then went on to say a necessary sacrifice, but she didn't seem okay with
that's
it.
more of the great expression work in this episode, where we didn't need to hear her say, I'm not sure about that. No, we could tell on her face that she wasn't fully behind it, but she was kind of forcing herself to accept Sienna's death as a necessary sacrifice.
Yeah.
But she didn't really connect. She's not as connected to Sienna as she is to Blake, so will she see Blake and her life, her happiness and everything as a necessary sacrifice?
I just really want Ilya to make the right choice here. And I'm not sure that she will.
I think she will.
I think she will, because Blake needs a victory. I think even if Gira does die, she needs something to help her cause. Because if Gira dies and everything just goes wrong for Blake, it could easily knock her back onto her worries and concerns. She needs something to help her, because this is the first time that she's going against the White Fang.
Yeah.
And she even says, it's my turn to help my friends.
Piscian, I agree that Finnick seems to be a bit unsure, but I feel like Finnick and Corsac are far too cowardly to do anything about it.
Also power hungry. They seem like they want... Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Am I the only one who thinks that the reason why they're supporting Adam as they are is not so much that they want to do this for the fairness, but
they want to get themselves to the top?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I'm thinking it's more something to do with that person in the painting. I think, because they're cult leaders, they're very religious based, they build things up on their faith and all the beliefs in that. I think they see a lot of Adam in... a lot of their original leader in Adam, or whoever is in that painting, and I think that's the reason why they're supporting him for the moment.
Yeah,
it almost looks like Finnick, which is weird.
The question is the person depicted in the picture, is that an ancestor or a god? That's the question. Like,
I think that's the original leader, the first leader.
Could have been.
No, Gira. Well, Gira was the first leader of the White Fang.
Gira was the first one. That's true. Yeah.
Was he?
He founded the White Fang. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that room looks like some kind of like memorial for that area with the candles.
I've always been under the impression that there was more leaders before him, but I might be misremembering something at the moment.
Yeah, because in Blake's conversation in Volume 1 with Sun, she says there's only been two leaders. Like, there was the White Fang was founded after the Great War, and then the new leader
actually, it wasn't founded after the Great War. It was founded after an event separate from the Great War that was a war with Faunus specifically. The Great War was...
I need to rewatch this stuff.
Yeah, it's a little... They don't really, like...
A lot of information.
They don't hash it as thoroughly as they should, but the Great War was a war between kingdoms, whereas there was another war that was specifically humans versus Faunus. And from that war came the White Fang. The White Fang was originally meant to be... like a voice of
a peaceful organization,
a peaceful voice of reason. And then when Gira stepped down as leader, Blake says 5 years ago our leader stepped down and a new one took his place. So at the point Sienna was murdered, she had been leading the White Fang for 6 years, and Gira was leader before that. So the organization is relatively new as far as history is concerned, and it. So this Faunus War, like we hear Oobleck talk about it, he's saying it's relatively recent events. And they were talking about the battle at Fort Castle and all that sort of stuff. These are post-Great War events, quite recent events. Before Blake and Weiss and Yang's time, but still recent. Yeah, so they need to do more World Remnants and that sort of stuff, because it's Faunus Rights Revolution. Thank you, that's what it's called. Yeah, the Faunus Rights Revolution.
That was it.
That was separate from the Great War. Yeah, the Great War was 80 years ago. 81 now.
Yes, that would be roughly around this time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm mistaken on my part.
Yeah. No, it is. They don't hash it as thoroughly as they should. They just mention all of these events, but don't really say when they are. That's the problem.
We need a structure, like a visual timeline.
We need a
but
timeline,
I still think, at least in some aspect, whoever is in that painting might be the reason why the Albanes are still so devoted to Adam
absolutely.
for the time being.
Some kind of
religious or
yeah.
They do so by beliefs and then power.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have been going for nearly an hour and 45 minutes, so we need to start wrapping it up here. Predictions for next chapter. So I think we're all set on the prediction that we're getting Raven, Weiss, Yang, Crow, and hopefully Salem, Leo as well, I think.
Yeah.
I think the one big question though is this the time where we finally start to get information on Team Stark themselves?
Please.
I hope
say
so.
Yes.
Please
I
say
just
it.
want to know about Summer. I just want to know about Summer.
I need to know what the fuck happened with Team Stark. I'm so goddamn curious. I need to know. I'm like, how did Summer die? What happened between Ty and Raven? What the hell happened? Why did the team break up? What is going on? I need to know. I have so many questions.
I'm really looking forward to this specific episode.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why we had this episode to bridge between.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
this
feel
was
like
almost like a proverbial break.
Brace for impact is all I'm going to say as far as Chapter 6 is concerned. Yes, flashback would be nice. Start flashback. Please make it happen.
Raven
talk
the truth, Crow do the recruiting, Stark, and then end with seeing Cinder and her team about to head into the camp. That would be a perfect episode.
I can do without Oscar Osborn Ranger for like 2 more chapters now, please. I'm getting a bit overloaded here.
I keep saying it. I'm tired of them.
Yeah, this is like Blake last volume. Too much Blake. I'd had enough of Blake. But now I'm getting my fill of Ranger Oscar Ospin. They need to go away for at least a chapter now. Please piss off.
and then afterwards, we'll start the climb towards whatever kind of craziness we get for the finale.
Yeah. So I feel like after this, the next lot of significance Ranger and Oscar need to have is to reunite with Weiss and Yang. I don't want to see them again before that happens. Stop showing me them. I've had enough. There are other things to get to, like Team Stark, the Weiss and Yang dynamic, Raven, Crow. There are so many other things that we need to know about.
There's such a heavy story with like Raven and Crow and all that. It's just like they're working too much on the other stories. Like going, I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about what's going on with Raven, what's going on with Stark.
I don't even think we'll see Menagerie next episode at all. Well, I think it's strictly gonna be Raven and Crow related, and whatever feeds through there.
Yes.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll finally see that Salem and Tyrion conversation.
That's a good point. Piskian's wondering about whether we're seeing Jean and Pyrrha's families since they're in Mistral. I hope so. I mean, Jean's there. Why wouldn't he go see his family, for God's sake? Like
Jean's family isn't.
Well, they're not
in Mistral.
They're not from Mistral, but they're from Anima.
So we need to see Jean meet the Nikos at some point, because I think that's going to be key for his semblance. That's one of my biggest wishes.
We know that Pyrrha came from Mistral because she went to Sanctum Academy, which is in Mistral. So,
and she won the Mistral regional tournament.
Not Sanctum Academy. Yeah, Sanctum Academy.
Yeah, Sanctum Academy.
Yeah, I think villains next episode as well. I said that last week, but like,
we've been saying that every week for like 3 weeks now.
Lack of villains. We still need to see Salem and Tyrion's talk. We need to know what's going to happen with Tyrion's tail. We need to see Watts get back there. Like, so much that we need to see. And they
Part
keep
of me
showing
thinks
us
that we're
fucking
not
Oscar.
gonna see. Part of me thinks that we're not going to see Tyrion's talk with Shayna.
Yeah, I
I'd
think
be
they might
so
sue.
annoyed if they withhold
They
that
might-
from us.
Yeah, but they might do the exact same thing, like you said, with like the thing before Volume 5 even started, with Blake confronting them. They left that off screen.
Yeah.
They might do the same thing with Tyrion's talk.
Yeah, but Pyrrhus...
I think we can assume what happens, and then we can see how badly Tyrion got the worst end of the stick for it through his actions.
Yeah. So Pyrrhus'
can see that
family
happening.
is definitely another thing, and Jean's family as well. I need to see Jean's 7 sisters. Are they all
Yes.
blonde? I'm so curious. I need
Yeah,
to...
just-
So
I
much
brought
fan
that
art
up.
and all the kind of debate about their names and all the colors and all that. I want to see them.
I need to see these 7 wonderful women that raised the perfect cinnamon roll that is Jean. Well, he's not much of a cinnamon roll anymore. He used to be, but
He's a,
He's got
he's a
blood in
pound
his eyes.
cake.
He wears a dress very well.
yes, he does.
No arguments.
I need to know more about Jean's sisters. I need to see Pyrrha's parents. I just need so much out of this volume that I feel like we're not gonna get.
I know.
Fingers crossed.
The end of the volume is going to come, and we're like, I have so many more questions.
Yeah.
As they do it to us
Well-
every year, it's not going to happen.
We'll have to wait and see. I'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. So please more White Yang Raven, please Crow, and please more villains. With lack of villains this volume. Let's get the damn villains in there. Yeah, what's Salem, Tyrion, maybe Leo. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna
Let's-
get more
let's just
Leo
bring back
later
the whole
in the
cast.
volume as well. Yeah, just throw them all in there. Fuck it.
Where's my coffee? Where's my velvet?
Yeah. What the fuck is Team Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up now. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Dan and Wade for an awesome podcast. And be sure to
You're
check
welcome.
out the Weissbreaker on VidMe. That will be up later today. I do need to edit this podcast because there's a bit that I have to cut out there because technical issues. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for chapter 6. Oh, I do want to mention, there will be a break coming up at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend or next weekend. I feel like probably next weekend. Or if not, then after chapter 7, since it's the halfway point. We're getting the holiday episodes of Ruby Chibi at some stage, so
Yeah.
they will be during the break weeks.
Probably, yep.
I don't know what's happening with scheduling. We have chapter 6 scheduled. We're having William and Elena on for chapter 6. William's in the chat now. And beyond that, we haven't scheduled anything because we don't know when the break is. So, and we also did
Follow SheNoob on Twitter. She'll keep
follow
you
me
up to
on
date.
Twitter. We also didn't know there was going to be 14 chapters when we scheduled for the Boopcast. So, yeah. So, follow me on Twitter. Yeah, thanks, Dan. We'll keep you posted. And go on the Discord as well, because I'm always posting crap on the Discord about the Boopcast and that, so... Thank you, Wade, for posting the night one. I was like, I don't have that turned... Oh. My moderator's in the podcast! Right, yeah. And on that note, we will see you next week. Bye, everyone!
Bye.
Bye.
Roll the credits, quick!